Hello, very beautiful, beloved soul friends. Thank you so much for joining another Conversations with Kristin, that beautiful time of your day where you explore the human consciousness and the healing journey of life from the inside out. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being you. There is not a single person on the entire planet who is just like you. Within your brain exist trillions of networks, and you have even more neural networks throughout the ganglia of your body. And in those trillions and trillions and trillions of cell connections, there is microscopic data stored that is unique to you. And that's what's generating your personal sense of identity and experience. Isn't that profoundly miraculous? Thus, there is no one on this entire planet who is like you. Billions of people, and not a single one of them gets to be the majesty that you are. So just take a moment and be like, go me for being me here and now. Thank you for being you, soul friends, and thank you for being here. Today, I'd like to explore the topic of marketing and advertisement from a backdrop of neuroscientific understandings to expose new insights regarding personal experiences of consciousness. All right, let's explore this together. And I want to start by saying, if you're someone who already kind of tunes out advertisements, like they pop up on YouTube and you don't look at them and you click skip as soon as you can, or if they come on the TV, you mute the TV or you turn it off for a few minutes or whatever, I just want to take a moment and say, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for decreasing the amount of stimulus that you allow into your brain because you've noticed the effects that it has on you. And if you do watch advertisements, I'm proud of you just for being alive, okay? I'm proud of you just for breathing and existing and having any experience, okay? You rock. You rock unconditionally. So when an advertisement comes on, our brain is responding. Every single moment of life experience is literally rewiring our brain. Every single piece of stimulus is being processed through our neural networks, by our neural networks, and then every neural network that's engaging is undergoing reconstruction. So literally, there's energy coming from outside of us, it's going inside of us, and then deep within unconscious microscopic processes, that data is being recorded. And so literally every piece of stimulus you allow into your life through experience is affecting the wiring of your brain. So I want to just take a moment and pause and say, thanks for encoding me into your brain. Thanks for encoding me into your brain right now. I really appreciate being a part of your brain's neural networks. So every single piece of experience is rewiring our brains. Every single piece of stimulus that we allow into our personal experience is having an effect on the wiring inside of us, which thus affects how we encounter ourselves and our lives as things move forward. The stimulus you let in today is going to affect your brain in the days to come. The same way that stimulus from past experiences is affecting your life now. And a lot of times we don't have power or authority in stimulus. We move through life and there's a siren in the distance or someone's fighting down the street or whatever. But when we have the chance to choose the entertainment that we allow into our lives, such as through YouTube videos or the television or even on the radio, we have power in that place. So I just want to bring some awareness to this topic of marketing and advertisement and what's actually going on, so you can have these insights while you move through your life experience and have more conscious power within the decisions about how you allow your brain's neural networks to undergo reconstructive wiring within each unfolding moment. Okay? This is one area we have a lot of authority in within our lives, pretty widespread. So marketing and advertisement. And this can also apply to all realms of marketing and advertisement, not just commercials, but the packaging on soap bottles and billboard signs and literally anything. So all styles of marketing and advertisement. It's just the commercials that come up on our TV and stuff, those are important too. So there's kind of the general topic with, commercials being one example. So it could be the wrappings on soap bottles or signs that you see or literally anything, okay? So what's happening is people go to school and they learn all of these super intensive psychological tricks to use creative means to encode and implant messages inside of you that will ignite your unconscious mind towards buying their products. So what's happening is people are going to school and they're like, I get to learn how to play with other people's unconscious minds through my creative expression. And there's nothing wrong with marketing or advertisement at all. I just want to say that. That was just a fun voice to use. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just important to be aware of it is all. And so I took a marketing class. It was fun. It was really fun. So marketing and advertisement, people have the insights to affect your unconscious mind. But if you're not aware of what's going on in your unconscious mind, then someone else has the power within your experience. And so that's why it's just important to bring aware. Nothing good or bad. There's no labels here. Those don't exist here. No labels, no nothing. Just awareness. That's it. Just awareness. There are no labels. Nothing is good. Nothing is bad. Nothing is right. Nothing is wrong. There's just awareness of what is and a choice to move through it. That's it. Okay? Get that clarified there. Get that clarified there. Connotations can sometimes be misleading. So, marketing and advertisement. What's happening? And I don't even think this is how things are taught. I don't know because I don't have a marketing degree. But I don't think this is how things are taught, considering I learned it a very alternate route, very different way than marketing school. But what's really happening in advertisements and commercials and branding and labeling is people are addressing our attachment needs in the marketing. If you look, like when I open my refrigerator and I look at the packaging of each kind of food and drink in there, the vast majority of them have some kind of word or phrase or picture that directly addresses an underlying attachment need within our neurobiological wiring. And you can find out more about attachment systems through free content I have here on my YouTube channel. So if you go youtube.com/Kristin Chronicles and then search for attachments or check out the playlist about attachments, you can find out more about this really important topic. You can also explore some free gifts I have for you. And in these free gifts, I outline and explain what the attachments are. There's 4 different systems with 20 attachment needs altogether. And these are original concepts I've created. I've created my own diagrams explaining the human experience from the inside out. So you can download that for free at kristinwindsor.com/gifts. And those links are also here in the video description below. One of them that specifically talks about the attachment needs is loving liberation. Growing brand new subconscious timelines is also one that lists out the attachment needs. So please feel free to check those out to find out a little bit more about that specific element of this topic. And so marketing addresses attachment needs. You can look on something and it talks about how being delighted or being content or being complete or being happy, those are all emotional sensations or subconscious sensations that ignite microscopically and then allow for more conscious experiential sensations to bloom and develop. Like if there's a substation of feeling loved or seen or worthy, then there's it generates a substation of feeling happy, and then it eventually creates a subconscious sensation with more specificity, and then that eventually creates a conscious feeling of I feel happy. But it all starts in our attachment systems with these microscopic substations, okay, which is subconscious sensation. It's a word I've created. So marketing and advertisement always addresses some kind of attachment need. Marketing and advertisement covertly addresses underlying attachment needs. And what happens in this process, this is absolutely phantasmalistically marvelous, brilliantly astounding. What happens is stimulus comes inside of us, okay? So there's something out here, right? I'm looking, there's a bottle with a wrapper on it, and then I'm looking at it. The process of this object being transmuted through the atmosphere through light waves and absorbed by my neurobiological applications of consciousness then create a piece of stimulus, a piece of microscopic energetic data that was gathered externally and is now being processed internally. That piece of data begins in the unconscious body and shifts through states of nervous system dysregulation or nervous system regulation, brainwave regulation of hormones and transmitters, regulation of brain region engagement with right brain and left brain and forebrain and hindbrain, the quadriceptor, four regions of the brain. It goes through all of these different things. It goes through our neural networks. And then once it goes through our unconscious states, then it hits our subconscious realms, and then it shifts through attachment systems. And the style that those engage then create projections, and this little ball of energetic data keeps kind of rolling through, and it gathers intel from attachment systems, and then it gathers intel from memory systems, and then it gathers intel from meaning-making associations, and then it travels through the neural networks, and the neural networks break down this compilation of data and create thought impulses. And then those thought impulses travel through the neural networks and arrive at the conscious kingdom, and then they're translated into thought forms, which is where we get dialogue in our brain and feelings inside of us. That's the process of stimulus being absorbed from the atmosphere and translated into personal life experience through our neurobiological applications of consciousness. And all of this that I just explained is a concept I've created with my own diagrams of consciousness. So stimulus comes from the outside world and is translated through this complex process, and then it creates our personal life experience. And then that personal life experience creates another little piece of energetic data, and that becomes, it's called an experiential element. According to my diagrams of consciousness, it's called an experiential element, and that energetic piece of data then becomes stored inside of the neural networks creating our unconscious mind, and it affects how things get processed in the days to come. Okay? So when we absorb a piece of stimulus, any type of energetic data from our external reality, it could literally be anything. A word, a phrase, a sight, a sound, a feeling, something you feel on your skin, something you see, something you read, anything. It goes through this process and affects our experience now, and then affects the wiring in our neurobiology to influence us in the infinite days ahead. So how we allow stimulus into our lives matters a lot. And stimulus actually has different types of frequencies. And this is also according to original concepts I've created within my diagrams of consciousness. Stimulus has a frequency to it, a vibrational frequency, and this can be measured in a few different ways. So there's two main variables that determine the frequency of an element of stimulus. And so there's all kinds of different sights and sounds, and each individual piece of stimulus carries a particular frequency. And there are two dominant variables that determine this frequency, which thus determines how it affects the engagement of our unconscious mind, which generates our personal life experience. And then those experiential elements become stored within our neurobiological data and continue affecting us as life moves forward and proceeds through new moments. There's two primary variables according to my diagrams of consciousness. The first variable involves energetic intensity, and it ranges along a spectrum of soft to sharp. So stimulus that is slower, gentler, more gradual, or softer, it has a softer frequency within the stimulus. And on the other end of the spectrum of this first variable of the frequency of stimulus is sharp, a sharp frequency. And so stimulus that is more sudden and louder and sharper and higher and blah, blah, that's going to be a sharper frequency of stimulus. And so, for example, if I speak like this, where things are flowing very gently, slowly, and gradually, this stimulus here holds a soft frequency. But if I'm like this and I'm sudden and it's loud and it's high pitched and it's sudden and it's just coming out of nowhere, that would be a sharp intensity of frequency or a sharp frequency of stimulus. And so the first variable determining the frequency of stimulus and how it affects us through our neurobiological applications of consciousness involves energetic intensity ranging along a spectrum of soft to sharp frequencies. Another example is if you hear a gentle humming or a buzzing, like maybe a fan that's turned on or like a radiator, just kind of just this background bzzz, that's going to be a softer frequency than a high-pitched shrieking sound of some machine or like a car alarm or something. That would hold a sharper frequency where the fan would hold a softer frequency. Another great example is listening to movement of a fly buzzing versus a butterfly. When you listen to a butterfly moving, their movement is very slow and gentle for the most part. They move a little bit slower than a buzzing fly does. They move slower, and the sound of their wings flapping is much quieter. It's not as high pitched and it's not as fast. And so that holds a softer frequency of stimulus compared with listening to a fly buzzing around. Flies are going, they're going in circles, they're buzzing, they're flapping their wings all fast. That's going to be a sharper frequency of stimulus. And this affects how our neurobiological applications of consciousness engage. And you can actually find out more about this in a free download I've created for you guys. It's about 14 pages of super mega magic, and it's all in pictures for you guys. Lots of pictures, lots of diagrams. So please feel free to download that. You can get all of this information in easy to understand, simplified diagrams, and then you can be like, oh, okay, well, this is the soft frequency, and that's why it's having this effect on me, and oh, this is a sharper frequency, so that's why it's having this effect on me. And you can have these insights to keep in mind while you move through your unfolding moments of life experience. It helps to have these insights. It helps to understand why our unconscious minds are responding in certain ways. Like we might shift from here to here and suddenly we're feeling different stuff. And if we don't understand where that's coming from or why, it can feel a little frustrating or overwhelming or confusing, and it can feel difficult to know how to respond to it. But when we can have insights to know that there's these pieces of stimulus that are being absorbed and processed through our unconscious minds, and that's generating styles of personal experience, we can have more power because we're more aware and we're more present and we have this renewed perspective about what's happening. And from that space of awareness and presence bring us power, then we have more capacity to choose how we respond. Oh, this is just my unconscious mind responding to that piece of stimulus rather than, oh my God, I feel this way. And so it helps to have a greater gap between stimulus and response. So there's more power to choose the response towards our inward self and outer elements of reality. So please feel free to download this free gift, a gift of love from my heart to yours, sharing the work that I've been doing these past few years so that you have more power while moving through your everyday healing journey of life. You deserve to have access to the infinite power that already lays within you. So please feel free to explore this gift and over a dozen other gifts, free gifts of love from my heart to yours at kristinwindsor.com/gifts. That link is also in the video description below. Please feel free to explore it. It really helps to have these insights, tips, tricks, tools, all this mega healing journey magic knowledge while moving through our unfolding moments. Our unconscious mind is contributing and creating our entire sense of personal experience, but it's all happening beyond our awareness. And bringing awareness to our unconscious mind really, 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 really gives us power within our identity and our experience, inside and out alike. Okay, so the first variable of frequency, or the first variable determining the energetic vibrational frequency of stimulus as we move through life, is that of energetic intensity ranging along a spectrum of soft to sharp, soft and sharp frequencies of stimulus. The second variable determining the vibrational frequency of individual experiential elements of stimulus that affect our unconscious minds and thus prominently, dominantly, powerfully, domineeringly influence and affect our styles of personal life experience is, drumroll please, is energetic depth of message. And this ranges along a spectrum of thin to thick. Thin frequencies of stimulus and thick frequencies of stimulus. Okay, so this is the second variable determining the vibrational frequency of individual experiential elements of stimulus that impact and influence the neurobiological applications of consciousness within your unconscious mind that are generating all automated styles of personal experience. You get it? Okay, so this spectrum involves the energetic messages held within individual pieces of stimulus that are stemming from the unconscious minds of people. And this could be our own unconscious mind through an internal stimulus of a dialogue, like a linguistic thought or a piece of narrative, or it could be any sense of external stimulus, such as something that you read on a wrapper or a commercial where there's words and someone talking, or something someone says, or something you read in a textbook, or a conversation you overhear, or a podcast you listen to, or even right here, right now, listening to me talk would hold thicker vibrational frequencies. Okay, so the second variable determining the energetic frequency of individual pieces of stimulus is energetic depth of message held within the stimulus. And this ranges along a spectrum of thin to thick. Okay, the last spectrum was soft to sharp. This spectrum is thin to thick. And this specifically explores the quantity and intensity and depth of messages held within the stimulus that stem from other people or stem from any unconscious mind. Okay, so let's explore a few examples to kind of see what this is really about, right? The quantity of messages and then the level of subjectivity of those messages are what influence this variable of stimulus frequency. Okay, so for example, if you hear a butterfly's wings flapping, it's going to be on the very, very tip-top part of this spectrum with a totally thin frequency, because there are 0 messages in the sound of a butterfly's wings from any person's unconscious mind. If you hear someone say, hello, that's going to be somewhere in between thin and thick, because there's not a lot of stuff going on. There's not like, let me talk to you about the energetic vibrational frequency of stimulus and its impact on neurobiological applications of consciousness. That holds a thicker frequency because there's a lot more messages going on in that. But if I say, hello, that's still going to hold a thicker frequency than the sound of a butterfly's wings. So kind of moving from thin to thick with a few examples. Butterfly wings, super thin, 0 messages, the thinnest frequency possible. And then you've got someone saying hello, or even just seeing another person. Because every time we see a person, it activates our attachment systems in a way that evaluates the needs of our internal systems. And seeing a person is still stimulus regarding other human beings. So even seeing a person is going to have a thicker frequency than the sound of a butterfly's wings. But then someone saying hello is going to have a thicker frequency than just visually seeing someone from a distance. But then if someone says, hey, how are you doing today? I've been having a really good day. I went to the store and I bought 3 apples and 2 heads of broccoli. And then I said hello to the cashier. That holds a thicker vibrational frequency of stimulus than just saying hello, because there's more messages held in it. And then as things get more complex or more subjective or more biased and there are perspectives, then it gets even thicker. So the more messages held in it, the thicker the frequency. And so for example, if I say, I like cats. That holds a thinner frequency than saying, I like cats because of their blue spots and the giant tentacles coming out from their arms. I know that doesn't make sense, but that's beside the point. There are more messages, there's more perspective within that example than just saying, I like cats. So that would hold a thicker element of frequency. If someone says, I enjoy cats, versus, I really, really love cats. Like, they're the greatest thing in the whole wide world. Like, only cats should ever exist ever at all. Like, every other human, like every other living species should just be like obliviated because cats rule and only cats should ever exist ever. That holds a thicker frequency than just saying I enjoy cats or I like cats, because there's more perspective, there's more subjectivity, there's more intensity within the depth of message, or there's more depth of message. There's more going on there in terms of the messages being held. So the more messages there are, the larger quantity of messages, or the greater depth there are with the more subjectivity or bias or perspective in the messages, the thicker the vibrational frequency is of the stimulus. If someone comes up and says, hey, how's it going? That's going to hold a thinner frequency than someone coming up and saying, let's talk about politics. I believe this. This is my perspective, and it should be your perspective too. I think everybody should have this perspective because it's the best perspective in the world. I believe this. I perceive this, and this, and I think everyone should perceive that way too. That's going to be a much thicker vibrational frequency of stimulus than saying, hey, how's it going? Okay? And perhaps you can even feel some of the effects of this as you conceptualize them within your own unconscious mind. So you can play with this, explore. As you move through your moments, notice the stimulus and be like, what am I noticing in my unconscious mind, which is influenced or accessible through clues of consciousness, through the way that you're thinking and feeling and perceiving, and the way that your personal experience is being generated from within your neurobiological applications of consciousness. You can follow the clues of consciousness, explore what's happening in your unconscious mind, and then be like, okay, how does that connect in relation with the vibrational frequency of the stimulus? Like, I was sitting outside on the grass looking at the sun, looking directly at it, but enjoying the sunshine. And then I went inside, and there was a bunch of conversations going on, and there was a bunch of background noise, and then someone suddenly dropped a bunch of pans, and there was like a big chaotic noise. And then I felt a lot of peace, and then suddenly I was feeling more thoughts going on inside of me. And that's because there were softer and thinner vibrational frequencies of stimulus out there, and now the vibrational frequencies of stimulus in here are much sharper and thicker, and that's actually impacting my unconscious mind and the way my neurobiological data is engaging to project experiences personally sensed by my parts of consciousness. Cool, I'm so glad I have awareness regarding what happened there to cause that shift in my personal experience. Okay, so play with this. Play with this as much as you can. If you have questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into any of this, you can always book a one-on-one session with me at KristinWindsor.com. And we can talk about any sort of healing journey stuff and dive into any corner of your personal healing journey in any way that your heart feels inspired towards. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to explore these healing journey topics in a way that you can apply these concepts personally within your unfolding experiences through your everyday healing journey of life. You can explore more about who I am and what I do, or book a session with me at KristinWindsor.com. Okay, so thin to thick vibrational frequencies of stimulus. So the more messages that are held in stimulus, the thicker it is. And so, for example, if you have a feeling of, I'm hungry, I feel a sense of hunger, that's going to be an internal piece of stimulus with a thinner vibrational frequency than if you have a thought of, oh my gosh, I can't get anything right. Why can't I do anything right? I feel like such a failure. That's going to have a much thicker vibrational frequency than feeling, I think I'm hungry. Because there's a greater depth of a message. There's more messages happening, and there's more bias and subjectivity within the messages. Okay? Each piece of stimulus holds a vibrational frequency. And these have effects within our unconscious mind and the way that things engage. There are three primary ways that the vibrational frequency of stimulus impacts engagement of our unconscious mind and thus affects the sensations within our personal life experience as abstract stimulus undergoes complex translative processes to become specified elements within our personal experience. Because our personal experience does not come from the outside world. That's just stimulus. Our personal life experience 100% comes from our neurobiological applications of consciousness that translate stimulus into specificities of personal life experience. Every single piece of personal experience comes directly from our unconscious mind, not our unconscious body explicitly, and not our conscious mind, and not the outside world, but specifically the way that our unconscious mind, referencing my diagrams of consciousness, and the way that those specific elements of our neurobiology engage to interpret elements of stimulus and create specificities within personal life experience. For example, our nervous system does not personally encounter life on its own, and our conscious self does not personally encounter life on its own. Instead, there's this middle landscape of our unconscious mind that bridge our unconscious body and our conscious mind, and that is where personal life is generated from and experienced by parts of consciousness both within and beyond awareness. So personal life experience doesn't come from the outside world. It always comes from through this, our neurobiological applications of consciousness, which is why, thankfully, we have power within our experience, because the outside world is not creating how we experience ourselves and our lives. Our neurobiological data is, and we can rewire our neurobiological data to radically shift how we experience ourselves in life, regardless of the outside world. It doesn't mean it's easy and it doesn't mean it's immediate, but thank goodness it's always possible. That means no matter what's happening out here, you always have power to transform your styles of personal life experience. That's so exciting. That's so liberating. That's so majestically magical. Okay, so there are three primary ways that the vibrational frequency of stimulus impacts engagement of our unconscious mind. The first is that there are more subconscious activations with sharper and thicker vibrational frequencies of stimulus. There's more activations. More data ignites and is projected directly into experiences of subconscious parts beyond all awareness. You have zero awareness about this particular element of your internal reality, but your parts of consciousness are directly encountering it. And then you kind of get like a little bitty baby sense of what's happening from like a thought or a feeling. But beyond the thought and feeling are thousands of activations that parts of consciousness, subconscious parts, are directly experiencing, very personally, first-handedly encountering these activations of neurobiological data. So stimulus, when it holds a sharper or thicker vibrational frequency, there are more subconscious activations of neurobiological data being projected into realities of subconscious parts beyond all awareness. The second way that this impacts our personal experiences of self and life is that vibrational balls of energetic data processing stimulus collect more activated data when there are sharper or thicker vibrational frequencies of stimulus. So you got this energetic piece of data, this experiential element of stimulus. You see something, you hear something. It comes into your unconscious mind and travels through these complex processes. It activates and ignites neurobiological data. It's like coming in and it sparks it up. It's little sparkers, just light it up, ignite. And so this dormant data goes, whoo, I'm awake, I'm alive, I'm activated, I'm moving, I'm on the go now, I'm contributing to subconscious activations, I'm contributing to subconscious conversations within the communicative connectivity of consciousness. So stimulus comes in, it activates it, okay, activates data, and then there's more activations when there are sharper or thicker vibrational frequencies of stimulus. And then that little piece of that little ball of energetic data, you can imagine like the stimulus coming in like a ball and rolling through your subconscious realms. And while it's rolling through, it's picking up pieces of data. It's like this little ball that's like swimming through the seas of activation, and pieces of stuff that are being ignited then collect and adhere to that vibrational ball. The vibrational ball is just like rolling, and it's collecting pieces, and the ball kind of gets bigger as it goes along, okay? And then eventually that vibrational ball reaches a place where it goes into this very specific process, and the ball becomes broken down into little bits and pieces called thought impulses, and the collection of that data translates into potentials of thought, and then some of those are received by the conscious kingdom, and that's where we receive an experience and personally can sense directly thought forms, thoughts, and feelings. And this is all 100% of this is concepts I've created from scratch. These are all concepts I've created with my diagrams of consciousness to explain where personal life experience comes from. Okay, so the first way that the vibrational frequency of stimulus impacts personal life experience is there are more subconscious activations when stimulus is thicker or sharper. The second way is that the stimulus, as it travels, it picks up more data. More data adheres to this energetic ball that's processing the piece of stimulus, okay? And the third way that the vibrational frequency of stimulus impacts experiences of consciousness is that when there's a piece of stimulus with a sharper and or thicker vibrational frequency, it's more likely to pick up low vibrational data. So if you have like a piece of pain trapped in data, and you have like all of these really good times and good memories and loving sensations up here, the sharper and thicker vibrational frequencies of stimulus are actually more likely to come in and gather pieces of low vibrational data, which is why certain things are more triggering. When you experience a trigger, when anybody experiences any kind of trigger, and this could be like an emotional trigger of like, oh my God, don't even get me started on politics. I will get so fired up. It's a triggering topic. Or if you have really, really severe traumatic stress, and just hearing a sound makes your entire body go into a horrendous survival mode. Any type of trigger can be explained by understanding the vibrational frequency of stimulus and how it affects the engagement of the unconscious mind and the neurobiological data stored in neural networks. Triggers are happening beyond all awareness, and it really, really, really helps to understand why we and people around us are being triggered the way that they are. Because when we can recognize within us or within someone that's, we're interacting with, when we can recognize that that personal experience is coming from neurobiological data being activated in their cells beyond awareness, we can have more compassion and we can have more space within our experiences and our interactions. Because we might not be able to understand why things are being triggered. Or maybe we kind of have an idea, but maybe not completely. It's because of stuff happening beyond awareness. If someone else is getting triggered, it's hard to see why from the outside. It's hard to look at that and make sense of it because it's not your experience and it doesn't make sense from the outside. So having this awareness that these triggers in ourselves and other people are coming from the activations of neurobiological data in relation to vibrational frequencies of experiential elements of stimulus that are affecting the way that we experience ourselves and our lives, it can really, 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 really help. Hey, soul friends, please feel free to screenshot this quote here and share it. It helps to spread awareness about the core causality of triggers so that we can expand our compassion for ourselves and one another while moving through this life experience as we share sacred space on this majestic planet. Okay? It's just really helpful to keep in mind that our experiences and the experiences of everyone around us are coming from unconscious minds. And we can have so much more space and grace for compassion for ourselves and other people when we have this healing journey insight. Okay? So please keep this in mind while you move through your moments. When there are triggers within you or within people that you care about, or even coworkers or a housemate, know that it's their unconscious mind, or it's your unconscious mind. And it never defines you. And it can be gradually rewired. But in the meantime, create space. Just create space. Okay? So, vibrational frequency of stimulus. How does this relate to marketing and advertisements? To bring it all the way around. So, when we look at something, when we look at a wrapper on a bottle, when we hear an advertisement on the radio, when we see a commercial on a YouTube video, when we see a billboard while we're driving, when any kind of marketing or advertisement, from something that we read on a label to something we see or hear in a more, like an entertainment type setting, the vibrational frequency of those pieces of stimulus are impacting your unconscious mind. And a lot of advertisements, especially like television commercials, are very, very geared towards those more heavyweight frequencies with thickness of message that really, really touches on your underlying attachment needs. And sometimes there'll be even a sharper element to the stimulus. Sometimes commercials are softer, but a lot of times they have like this umph to them, and there's like, now, like the little images come in and they're like jumping at you, and then there's words popping up, and then there's a new image popping up, and then there's color flashing through. They're trying to get your attention because they know that sharper frequencies of stimulus, maybe they don't know it with this terminology because I just made this stuff up because I'm magical like that, but they know that sharper frequencies of stimulus are going to engage your unconscious mind, and that's going to affect your experiences of self and life. And so certain vibrational frequencies of stimulus are more likely to cause certain styles of activations. And they can get stuck in there. And then you're at the store, and then this thought form pops up, and you're like, oh yeah, I saw a commercial for that on the TV. I think I'll try that. It's because of how the vibrational frequency of that stimulus impacted your unconscious mind and actually rewired your neural networks beyond awareness and are affecting the way you move through life now. Yeah, so it's just helpful to keep this in mind. It's important to have power within our unconscious minds, because if we don't choose to have power, then experience has 100% of the power. And what has happened and what is happening determines who we are and how we experience ourselves and life. And that is a powerless place to be. But thankfully, we don't have to be powerless. We don't have to be powerless. We have all the power within our own awareness. We can always have power while moving through unfolding life experience. We always have power within our identity and our personal experience because it's completely coming from our unconscious mind, which we have the power to rewire. Say it with me, soul friends. I always have power. I always have power. No matter what I think, no matter what I feel, no matter what experiences, I have power. You have power through the conscious directing of your internal energy, which is especially harnessed through intention and attention. Okay? So, commercials, advertisements, marketing, start to just be aware. just be aware of it. Just tune in with awareness regarding how you think and feel and perceive in relation to the stimulus that you're experiencing. And then use that awareness to shift your energetic focus, the internal direction of your energetic focus towards stuff that just does you better in life. Because the way you direct your internal energy determines where that energy flows, which determines the wiring of your unconscious mind, which determines the way you personally experience yourself and life. Beloved soul friends, I invite you to screenshot these next 2 images here that provide the steps about how to use this information to uplift and empower your everyday healing journey through life. You can screenshot these and then refer back to them while you practice this magical superpower to grow transcendent, transformative, healing energies within your own unconscious mind. Please feel free to share this with others as well. Okay, so please harness your power. You do yourself and this whole world good when you harness your power. You contribute to the prosperity of your life and the prosperity of the world when you embody your personal power. So, just gonna extend an invitation. This is a little invite from my heart to yours, an invitation to step into your power because it's a groovy place to be, baby. It's a groovy place to be. So you can find out more about the vibrational frequency of stimulus with this free download. It's a gift I've created from my heart to yours because I really care about your healing journey. Like I really want your healing journey to be like skyrocketing towards massive epic success and transcendent levels of healing transformation so that you can feel fully restored. You can feel liberated. You can feel free. You can feel ignited to be who you are. You can do this world good by just being your best self and vibrating at a high frequency of love. Can you imagine a whole world where everyone's just vibrating at a high frequency of love because everyone's unconscious minds are healed? Oh my gosh. Like, take a moment to picture that with me, friends. Imagine a world where every single person's unconscious minds were vibrating at a high frequency of love. Ooh, it would be heavenly. Absolutely heavenly. Absolutely heavenly. So please step into your power a little more each day through love and presence. Love and presence are how we heal ourselves. Being here and now and vibrating into higher vibrations of love. And we'll dive into this another time, but every piece of data in our unconscious mind is a vibrational frequency of love. Every piece of neurobiological data vibrates at a specific frequency of love. So we heal ourselves when we are present and we are loving with ourselves. We transmute the energetic frequencies of data within our unconscious minds, which thus transforms our life experience from the inside out. Pretty magical, right? Pretty epic. So please feel free to grab the free gift. And then there's actually a bunch of other free gifts on the same webpage you can explore. You can learn how to grow brand new subconscious timelines and rewire the data within your unconscious mind. You can learn how to rewire your neural networks with a trick that you can use anytime, anywhere, in any way. And it also has to do with the vibrational frequency of stimulus. You can learn all about your attachment systems and grab some wall hangings with affirmations that you can stick up. There's a whole bunch of free downloads. So please explore that, play with it, share it with your friends and family, share it in online support groups, share it with your neighbor. Let's ignite a hope revolution together because everyone's personal experience is coming from their unconscious mind. And when we rise up together into higher vibrations of love, the whole world starts to change from the inside out. Pretty magical. And you get to be a part of this with me. You get to be a part of this global healing world change. Oh, I love it. So please feel free to explore these free gifts. You can download them, share them. And then if you ever want to dive deeper into some healing journey magic, I would be honored, absolutely honored, to serve as a healing journey guide for you so that you know how to use this stuff to make real change in your life so that your life can feel better, because you deserve that. You're worthy of it, and you have the power. Infinite moments of happily ever after await you. I truly believe that every person is capable and worthy of embodying happiness, not just pursuing it. So if you'd ever like to dive deeper, I'd be honored to serve as a healing journey guide. You can learn more about who I am, what I do, or book a session with me at kristinwindsor.com. I would be truly honored to connect with you and explore your healing journey of life from the inside out, diving into operations of your unconscious mind so that you have more insight about what's happening, and awareness of where these things are coming from, and more tricks and tools and guidance and direction in knowing how to use that insight to move forward into the life experience that you really, really want to create for yourself. Okay. Thank you so much for taking time to learn about the vibrational frequency of stimulus and how things in our outer reality are affecting our inner reality. It has been such a blessed time. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I feel so blessed to share this sacred healing space with you and explore this very, very intriguing topic with you guys. It's an honor to be able to share everything that I've been learning in my healing journey. So thank you for taking time to connect. Please explore my website and all the gifts and the magic, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. If you liked hanging out, or you found this topic slightly intriguing, or maybe you learned something new, or maybe you had a good laugh, or anything at all, please feel free to hit the like or subscribe button. I really appreciate your support on my channel as I continue sharing healing journey messages. Thank you so much for tuning in, soul friends, and I hope you have just a beautiful and blessed day. Just an absolutely glorious time being the magic that you are. You deserve it, soul friends. I will see you next time. Namaste, beloveds. The divine love and light in my miraculous consciousness. See and honor the divine love and light in your miraculous consciousness. Infinite blessings, beloved, and I will connect with you again soon.